how do we navigate through the ugly, awful, messy middle? It can be difficult if the idea is just get in there and remember things and then you'll find a way through. No, I think that there's actually 5 really important phases or steps to help you through that journey. The first one is to realize. What that means is we realize what has happened. It's easy to deny, it's easy to look away, but sometimes we need to spend just a brief amount of time and go, yeah, there's hurt there, there's injustice there, there's pain there. And I realized that it came from this location or from this source. Step number 2 is to acknowledge it. You see, it's one thing to realize that something happened, it's another thing to allow it presence inside of your mind or emotions. We acknowledge, yes, this has affected me, and I do not deny the past. We don't do that so that we can sink there and live there all of our life. It's a quick process, but it's actually a very healing process to say, yeah, like this did happen, and I give myself permission to say, I know that it did. It's one of the ways that we release ourselves from denial, and it's an important phase. The third thing is to identify. This one can take a little bit more time, and often it does take some guidance, maybe some wise counsel or someone to kind of walk you through this, because you might need to identify who are the key players that influence that hurt or that injustice, that wrongdoing that happened in your life. It's hard to do, sometimes because we have allegiances or alliances, or we're close to those who hurt us. And it can feel wrong to say, like, this person who was supposed to love me, they actually hurt me. Or this person that I let into my life actually took advantage of me. It can be painful to go through those spaces, and that's why it's important to do the identify phase with someone. Because part of that identification is going to be to look at who does and does not have responsibility. Too often we take on the hurt of a moment, and then we also take on all of the responsibility. We think that it must be our fault. But it's okay to assign appropriate responsibility back to someone who took advantage of you, who hurt you. The fourth thing that you're going to do is you're actually going to accept. These are all the key players. This is how it happened. This might be why it happened. Here's the part maybe I had to play, or here's the part that I never played. Here's the part that somebody else played. You accept all of those key things. That stage can be difficult because often it means that there's loss. There can be loss of belief, loss of innocence, loss of a precious moment in your life, loss of something that had value. So accepting it can be incredibly difficult, and you might even go through a grieving process, and that's actually natural and normal. It doesn't mean that you're weak if you're grieving something that is unseen. It's okay. Now the fifth thing is you're going to proceed, because you don't have to stay locked inside of these broken moments for forever. The goal is actually to get outside of them. We don't deny them. We've realized, we've accepted, we've acknowledged, we've identified, but then we actually proceed. We move on and we say, I'm not going to be identified by that thing. I actually have a whole life in front of me. I have lots of options and ways to say, my identity actually is this. You can go after your wholeness, but you do have to stop in all 5 of those places. It can be difficult, but it's so worth it. And you find out that you've actually changed and you become a different person on the other side.